One had to know that his ancient sword was a broken sword with 9 layers of seals sealed. Could it be that the ancient sword wasn't an ordinary priceless sword? He asked Hey Tuesday. Hey Tu transmitted his voice to him. It was indeed not an ordinary heaven-step sword. The Thunder God's spear in his hand was a low-grade heaven-step artifact. The ancient Dragon Abyss sword in your hand was at least a high-grade or top-grade heaven-step artifact. Although it was broken, its grade was still higher than his opponent's. Moreover, it was an ancient artifact. A heaven-step artifact refined in ancient times was different from the current heaven-step artifacts. Therefore, in terms of power, his Thunder God Spear couldn't be compared to your ancient Dragon Abyss sword. However, you still couldn't unleash the full power of the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. On the other hand, he could unleash the full power of the Thunder God Spear. Therefore you were suppressed. So that was the case. Lin Xian understood. Lin Xian didn't open the third seal. Instead, he directly summoned the Great Dragon Sword Soul. He let it fuse with the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. Buzz! The ancient Dragon Abyss sword trembled, and the sound of a dragon and sword rang out as if it was alive. He swung the sword. With a clang, the Thunder God Spear was sent flying and hit the wall, bursting into countless sparks. Damn it! How did his power become stronger again? The 10,000 Thunder Saint quickly retreated, his figure as fast as lightning. His arm was numb, and he couldn't feel it. Buzz! The energy in his body instantly restored his arm, but his expression was extremely solemn. He attacked again. However, the more he fought, the more shocked he became, because he found that the little advantage he had just gained had disappeared again. His opponent tied with him again. Not only that, but he was also suppressed. In particular, his opponent's sword chi was getting fiercer and fiercer, which made his hair stand on end. Damn it! The 10,000 Thunder Saint was furious. Thunder God Bestowal. This was a divine ability that came with a heaven-grade cultivation technique. The Thunder God's spear burst out with an unparalleled light, turned into a flash of lightning, and stabbed over. Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless. He used the 4 killer moves of the chaotic Heaven Destroyer sword to contend with it. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The two retreated, but at this time, Lin Xian attacked again. The dragon-shaped sword shadow burst out, and an unparalleled power quickly slashed out 3 times. The Thunder God's spear buzzed and trembled. The 10,000 Thunder Saints' chi and blood were tumbling, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Damn it, I don't believe it. However, Lin Xian swung his sword again. This sword was like a giant dragon, crushing the entire sky and fiercely whipping the 10,000 Thunder Saint. Bang! The 10,000 Thunder Saint rolled out again, and the thunder and lightning on his body and armor were directly broken. His whole body was bleeding wildly, and he was almost cut in half from the middle. Damn it! The 10,000 Thunder Saint wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were extremely ferocious. He waved the Thunder God's spear and swept it out. Crack! Crack! The space was torn apart, forming a blue crack that swallowed the front. This crack was very strange. There were small thunderbolts around it, which intertwined with each other to form mysterious runes. Obviously, this was not an ordinary crack, but another of the 10,000 Thunder Saints' divine abilities. Thunder Devour. Boom! 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 The entire space was completely enveloped by mysterious runes, and Lin Xian's body was also swallowed. Whoosh! The mysterious runes quickly intertwined, shattered the void, and completely exiled Lin Xian. Ha 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 ha! Boy, go to hell! The 10,000 Thunder Saint was abnormally ferocious. He knew that the other party couldn't come out. This crack would directly banish the other party. Although he couldn't kill the other party, it was also a good thing to let the other party leave this ancient tomb. Chapter 2475. When he had enough opportunities in the ancient tomb, and broke through again, it would be time for him to kill his opponent. Lin Xian was swallowed in an instant. Feeling the darkness around him, and an invisible force surging toward him, he snorted coldly. The great dragon sword soul roared. Countless sword chi slashed the spatial energy apart. Buzz! Lin Xian moved like a dragon. His eyes burst out with a piercing light. It directly pierced through the void. With a golden light, he opened his heavenly secret divine eyes, and locked onto the Saint Sun's position. Crack! He waved his long sword, shattered the void, and appeared behind the Saint Sun. The sword slashed down from the sky. Bang! Ah! With a scream, the Saint Sun's left arm was directly cut off. Blood flowed wildly, and his miserable voice made one's scalp tingle. The Saint Sun turned into a bolt of lightning and fled frantically. Damn it! He was so angry, because he didn't expect that his opponent would come out and appear behind him. That sword was simply too swift and fierce. Under normal circumstances, he had to deal with it with all his strength, not to mention a sneak attack. One of his arms was directly cut off. Surrounded by thunder and lightning, he wanted to regrow his severed arm, but he found that he couldn't do it at all. There was an extremely terrifying sword in the wound, preventing his severed arm from regrowing. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the Saint Sun gritted his teeth. Boy, just you wait. I won't let you go. Do you think I will let you go? Lin Xian stepped on the dragon's shadow and quickly rushed over. The ancient sword in his hand was swung again. Seeing this, the 10,000 Thunder Sage quickly formed a few thunder shields. 8 Laidons surrounded him, forming the most powerful defense. The ancient sword hit the shield, making a thunderous sound. The Saint Sun rolled and flew backward. After 3 sword strikes, the 8 thunder shields were directly shattered. The 4th sword strike sent the Saint Sun flying again. Boy, just you wait. I will definitely pay you back for today's humiliation. After all, the Saint Sun was a saint, a genius. He had many life-saving means. He spat out a lightning bead, which instantly wrapped around him. He smashed through the void, disappearing without a trace. Lin Xian slashed out 9 times in a row, shattering the void. But in the end, his opponent still managed to escape. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted as he looked at the healing space. He didn't chase after them. Instead, he turned around and looked at the ground. There was a fallen arm, which belonged to the 10,000 Thunder Saint. With a wave of his sleeve, countless sword chi sealed the arm before he put it away. This was a good item. At a critical moment, it could stimulate the 10,000 Thunder Sage and deal a blow to the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land. Who asked them to be so arrogant? This time, he was going to ruthlessly slap their faces. Lin Xian continued on his way. However, this time around, he stopped after walking for half a day, because he discovered that there was no path ahead. With a cold snort, Lin Xian punched out, shattering the void. However, the wall did not change at all. Wang! He struck out with his ancient sword again, thrusting it out. This time, there was finally a change. The long sword directly sank into the wall. However, when he pulled it out, he discovered that there was blood dripping from the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. The crack on the wall was quickly healing. Damn it, what's going on? Why is it so strange? Lin Xian frowned. The wall was bleeding. Could it be a living thing? He didn't know. He thrust out his sword again. This time, the ancient Dragon Abyss sword kept growing longer. It was about 100 meters long. When he pulled it out, he discovered that there was more blood flowing this time. However, Lin Xian could clearly feel that there was no end to it. What's going on? Is the wall 100 meters thick? What a joke! He didn't believe it, but his soul power couldn't penetrate it. There seemed to be some kind of restriction in the wall that prevented his soul power from probing. Lin Xian had no choice. He used the ancient Dragon Abyss sword to split the wall, but he discovered that he couldn't split it at all. He could only stab it. What should he do? Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that he had to go back the way he came and explore other places? He wanted to do so, but at this moment, He Tu transmitted a message. Kid, try those Dao patterns you got. What's the meaning of these Dao patterns? Lin Xian asked. He Tu transmitted a message. I don't know, but it should be related to this ancient tomb. No matter what, it's from the same time period. Indeed, this ancient tomb should be more than 100,000 years old. Thinking of this, Lin Xian took out the treasure map with 6 Dao patterns. These Dao patterns were very simple, like sword marks. However, it was only simple on the surface. If one looked at it carefully, it would become more and more profound. It was as if there were endless secrets that couldn't be studied thoroughly. This was probably the mystery of Dao patterns. Dao patterns were even more profound than runes. There were even legends that said that Dao patterns weren't invented by humans, but by the top experts of the world to sense heaven and earth. They used Dao patterns to show the secrets of heaven and earth. The word Dao was enough to show how terrifying these runes were. Alright, I'll study one first. Anyway, there's no way out now. So Lin Xian simply sat down and started comprehending. It didn't matter if he was comprehending. But a month passed. When Lin Xian woke up, he was also very surprised. He originally thought that it would only take 1 or 2 days, or a few hours. But he didn't expect that this comprehension would take a month. And this was when He Tu alerted him from outside. Otherwise, it would probably take a year. Kid, how is it? How much have you comprehended? He Tu asked. Lin Xian shook his head. It's just a little bit. Be content. Even an invincible king wouldn't understand. These Dao patterns were left behind by saints. It's impossible for you to completely comprehend them now. Lin Xian nodded. He understood now. Indeed, these Dao patterns were at least left behind by saints. No matter how strong an invincible king was, he only had the king domain as his foundation. But it was different at the saint realm. They could use the laws of heaven and earth. More importantly, they could absorb the essence of the laws of heaven and earth, condense Dao patterns, and construct their own world. This allowed the king domain to take another step forward and form a small world. Therefore, it was already very shocking that Lin Xian could comprehend so much. Let's give it a try. Lin Xian stretched out a finger and drew an arc in the air. Chapter 2480. The expression of Wang Tong, the prodigy of the Bright Yin sect, finally changed. He did not expect Lin Fan to attack him. In the next moment his face darkened. Damn brat, do you want to start a war with the Yin Yang sect? You can't represent the Yin Yang sect. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He slashed with his sword, and a terrifying aura swept across the sky. It was as if a primordial demonic beast had awakened in the sky. Sword light filled the sky, drowning the entire space. Damn it! Get lost! Wang Tong, the prodigy of the Yin Yang sect, roared in anger. He was also a prodigy, and he was very powerful. Buzz! He formed a seal with his hands, and the Yin and Yang energies on his body quickly merged, forming a Yin-Yang diagram that spun in front of him. Boom! Poof! A clanging sound was heard as the sword landed on the Yin-Yang diagram. However, the Yin-Yang diagram was soon split open by the sword. Wang Tong spat out blood and was sent flying. Both of his arms were directly broken. He retreated. Lin Xian took a step forward and rushed over like a dragon. His right hand was like a giant palm that covered the sky. Crack! 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 Before the palm landed, the shockwaves from the energy shattered the space around Wang Tong. The black and white energies on Wang Tong's body kept rolling. He screamed in fear and hurriedly formed a set of armor. At the same time, he formed a yin-yang shield in front of him. It was another earth-shattering attack. The yin-yang shield and armor shattered, and Wang Tong's successor crashed to the ground. It was as if there was an earthquake, and the world shook. All the bones in his body were broken. The blood in his body was rolling, and his organs were impacted, causing him to vomit blood. Ah! Wang Tong roared crazily. The yin and yang energies on his body shot into the sky like two black and white divine dragons. He kept roaring. His broken bones recovered in an instant. His hair was disheveled, and his eyes were bloodshot. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you. His expression was ferocious, and his killing intent was monstrous. You want to kill me? Let's see if you have the right to do so. Lin Xian raised the ancient dragon abyss sword. Yin Yang /Dai. Both of Wharton's hands quickly formed hand seals, and the yin and yang energies within his body kept fusing to form a huge blade. Next he slashed down towards the sky. On the other side, Lin Xian also brandished his ancient sword, and performed the 5 elements sword technique. An earth-shattering collision rang out. Within Lin Xian's body, the great dragon sword spirit roared, and his battle prowess rapidly soared. The first sword strike shattered the yin-yang saber. The second sword strike enveloped Wang Tong. When the sword chi that filled the sky disappeared, Wharton's corpse appeared in front of everyone. Everyone in the surroundings was stupefied, because on Wang Tong's body, there were 15 sharp sword lights that pierced through his body, nailing him to death in the air. He was a genius of the yin-yang sect. How could he be killed so easily? They couldn't believe it. Lin Xian was like a demonic god, looking around disdainfully. He coldly asked, "Who else wants to attack me? Bring it on. I can guarantee that your end will be even worse than his." Hearing this, everyone's scalp went numb. Even Jiuxiao Seiko, and the big black bull of the Demon King Palace looked gloomy, not saying a word. Ba. No Flower was reciting Buddhist mantras at the back, but he didn't say anything, because these people asked for it. All right, since you have nothing to say, then do as I say. With me as the leader, we will break this formation together. After saying that, Lin Xian kept his ancient sword. The others thought for a long time, then silently stepped forward, ready to cooperate with Lin Xian. Jiuxiao Seiko snorted, and led the people of the 9 heavens holy ground to step forward. On the other side, the people of the Demon King Palace also stepped forward. Although Lin Xian had mercilessly killed their people, they had no choice but to cooperate with him now. Lin Xian began to prepare to break the 8 trigrams formation under his feet. At the same time, strange things were happening in other places. The bronze cauldron, and the heads of 99 invincible kings, caused everyone to be teleported randomly. Some of them were teleported together, but most of them were scattered. Xing Tian, elderly, and the others were also teleported. The dark red dragon was also teleported to another place. Damn it, it's that snake! Catch it! Skin it! Near the dark red dragon, a few angry roars could be heard. Whoosh! Whoosh! A few figures rushed over. They were the experts of the Tai dynasty. They were also teleported nearby. At this moment, these people's eyes were like lightning, staring at the dark red dragon. This was because they recognized that it was the snake beside Lin Xian. Lin Xian and the others couldn't deal with him for the time being, but they could kill the snake first and make it into snake soup to vent their hatred. Boom! Boom! Heaven-destroying palm. Berserk 3 blades. Lightning sword technique. A series of terrifying attacks came, enveloping the dark red dragon. Then they laughed out loud. Damn snake, who asked you to be arrogant again? Who asked you to follow that kid? Now you know what retribution is. Not only you, but everyone around that kid will be killed. The people on the first prince's side of the Tai dynasty sneered crazily. However, in the next moment, their eyes widened in disbelief. Damn it! How is that possible? Dream on! I must be dreaming. Damn it! I'm under an illusion. They roared crazily, and the light on their bodies flickered as they tried to regain their consciousness. That was because they realized that under their shocking attacks, the other party was completely unharmed. In fact, the other party was not injured at all. That made them unable to believe it. The dark red dragon spat out a mouthful of saliva. Damn it, it hurts. Damn it, how dare you attack me? You've committed an unforgivable crime. As he said that, he waved his dragon claws, and a terrifying dragon shadow appeared and enveloped the 3 people above. Damn it, get lost. The 3 powerhouses of the Tai dynasty roared and fought with the dragon. An earth-shattering battle began. The more they fought, the more shocked they became, because they realized that the snake in front of them was too terrifying. Every attack made their arms go numb and their blood boil. In just a few moves, they were injured. However, when their attacks landed on the other party's body. It only made the other party grit his teeth and scream in pain. However, there were no injuries at all. It made them have the urge to vomit blood. Chapter 2481. They could not tolerate such a slap in the face. Snake, how dare you hit me? Just you wait. When I break the seal, I'll kill you. Yes, I'll skin you and make you into boots. I'll make snake soup out of your flesh. Fuck. You wanna eat me? Stomp. 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 With every stomp, their faces cracked and their bones and blood splattered everywhere. But soon their faces recovered. Just like that, the dragon stomped on their faces a few hundred times. They had the urge to die. The dragon stopped and looked at the three of them. How about it? Do you still dare to be arrogant in front of me? No, no. Lord Snake, please let us go. Yes, we were wrong. Fuck, kill me if you dare. Give me a quick death. The three of them begged for mercy and roared angrily. Humph. The dragon slapped each of them again. Fuck, you're the snake. I'm a dragon. Call me Lord Dragon from now on. Also, it's impossible to kill you. I'm short of a few servants now. You can be my servants. From now on, you're my lackeys. You're the first lackey, the second lackey, and the third lackey. The three of you must serve me well. After 81 years, I'll let you live. Otherwise, I'll let you taste a fate worse than death. The dragon revealed a sinister smile. As the youngest monster, he had many tricks up his sleeve. Sure enough, the three of them roared crazily after hearing that. But after half an hour, they screamed like pigs being slaughtered. Then they agreed. Now that their cultivation was sealed, they could not resist at all. If they did not agree, they would suffer a fate worse than death. Very well, now that I'm tired, you guys carry me. The dragon waved its claw. Immediately, the three experts from the Tai dynasty carefully lifted the dark red divine dragon. Let's go. The dragon pointed in a direction, and the group of people set off like a gust of wind. Even though their cultivation bases were sealed, they were still top-notch almighties after all. Their physical bodies were extremely strong. It was not a problem for them to cross a few hundred meters with one step. Just like that, the dark red dragon set off in search of a new pet. In the darkness, a white light flashed and turned into a little white monkey. Behind him, a few figures were chasing after him in a frenzy. Damn monkey, put down the treasure. Damn it. I'll kill you. Damned monkey. I will definitely chop you into pieces. The people behind him roared crazily. However, they could not catch up with the little white monkey at all. The little white monkey's body was as light as a swallow. She glided through the dark passageway and entered a palace. The four martial artists behind him also charged over. Whoosh! The snow-white little monkey stopped, because he found that there was also someone in front of him. Sure enough, there were people in front of them. Moreover, there were more than 10 people who belonged to different holy lands and great sections. When they saw Little White, they also cried out in alarm. This monkey, wasn't this the pet of that fella from Immortal Palace? Why did he appear here? They must have gotten separated. Should they catch it and stew it? Many people had this idea. Among them, there were also people from the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land. They gnashed their teeth. However, the little white monkey arrived in front of the martial practitioners of the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 thunder sacred land in an instant, and knocked them unconscious with its furry little paws. Swoosh! He turned into a bolt of lightning and dodged the attacks of these people. He revealed a mocking expression in the sky. Woo woo woo! He pointed at these people with a look of disdain, as if saying, "You're all trash. Fuck. Kill him. Damn it, I can't tolerate this." The disciples of the Five Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Land were instantly furious. They were also geniuses. Chapter 2482. Alcade. Hearing this name, the eyelids of the people in front twitched. They were stunned, and one of them exclaimed, "Lurian? The saintess of the Alcade sacred ground." What? After hearing this, the other three people's expressions changed. "Oh no, let's go." They turned around and fled. They had no enmity with the Alcade saintess, but they didn't know her identity before, so they flirted and humiliated her. This was definitely a fatal disaster. Sure enough, the Alcade saintess Lurian waved her hand, and the holy light ball flew out and enveloped the four of them. Boom! Crackle! A terrifying explosion of energy completely engulfed the four of them. When the light disappeared, there was only a mist of blood on the ground, and not even bones were left. The surrounding people swallowed their saliva, and their faces were full of horror. "Little guy, follow me from now on." Lurian smiled and rubbed Little White's head. Little White nodded and took the spirit fruit that Lurian gave it, and ate it happily. However, the moment it lowered its head, a hint of slyness appeared in its big black gem-like eyes. It was temporarily staying by Lurian's side, and could be said to be safe. However, other places were not so lucky. Among them, Xing Tian met Morong Qingcheng. "Fairy Morong." Xing Tian walked up. Morong Qingcheng's eyes flickered and she asked, "Xing Tian, where's Brother Xian? Isn't he with you?" Xing Tian shook his head. "No, the young master has been teleported to another place. However, Fairy Morong doesn't have to worry. With the young master's strength and trump cards, there should be no problem." Indeed, hearing this, Morong Qingcheng also let out a sigh of relief. Then the group of people walked forward. There were martial artists from other sacred ground sects around, and these people temporarily joined forces. After all, in this saint's ancient tomb, it was more powerful to join forces. "Hey, there are murals on the wall." After walking for a while, the surrounding people exclaimed. They saw that on the walls on both sides, stone carvings had appeared out of nowhere. The carvings were very exquisite and lifelike, as if they were real people. Everyone was excited because they had heard that Lin Xian had obtained a stone carving with 6 Dao patterns on it. Therefore, now that they saw a wall full of stone carvings, they were excited. If there were a few Dao patterns on it, they would be rich. These people carefully stared at these murals, wanting to see if there were any Dao patterns. At this time, their pupils gradually became lax, and a strange light appeared. Among them, a few people screamed crazily, "Kill!" They began to attack their companions around them. In an instant, many of their companions were struck to the ground, and their blood dyed the void red. "Damn it, are you crazy?" His companions retreated frantically, their bodies glowing brightly as they roared madly. They really couldn't understand why their companion would go crazy. "Damn it, there's something wrong with these paintings," shouted an old man from the All Beginnings Holy Land. "Look, the person on the mural is smiling." An old man from the Divine Wind Imperial family also frowned. Everyone focused their gazes over. Indeed, they saw that the originally solemn and mysterious mural actually had a strange smile on it. This made everyone's scalp go numb. Damn it, what's going on? They clearly remembered that the characters on the murals were expressionless. Why would they suddenly smile? They could not understand. However, more and more people were going crazy. They couldn't look at the murals. Xing Tian roared. His roar was like a clap of thunder, shaking the surroundings. His roar caused everyone to retreat one after another. Many people stopped looking at the murals to avoid going crazy. However, those who had already gone crazy could no longer control themselves. They began to attack everything around them. In an instant, a great battle broke out. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu was also teleported away. She encountered Peacock, Hui Dao and the others. Shen Jingqiu asked about Lin Xian's whereabouts. Hui Dao and Peacock did not know either. They were also randomly teleported away. Nearby were the Grand Xia Prince and the Alcate Saint Sun. Apart from them, there were also many other martial artists. These people were preparing to explore the passage ahead. A group of people was also traveling together. They walked halfway through the passage. Suddenly, all the light disappeared. What's going on? Why did it turn out like this? Peacock frowned. Shen Jingqiu was extremely nervous. She shouted, and a purple radiance blossomed. It was like the moon, but it instantly dimmed, unable to illuminate the passage. She was not the only one. The Grand Xia Prince, the Alcate Saint, and the others were the same. It was pitch black all around. It seemed that even their souls were restricted. They could only stay within a 1-meter radius. Not to mention the radiance on their bodies. Humph. The Alcate Saint snorted and sent out the dragon pattern cauldron replica. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard. However, this time, the dragon pattern cauldron replica seemed to have lost its effect. The Alcate Saint's face darkened. Damn it! In the darkness he roared angrily. Beside him, the Grand Xia Prince also used the golden sword replica. However, it did not work either. This scene made everyone's hair stand on end. Even the two supreme weapon replicas could not illuminate the dark passage. What exactly was in the dark passage? They did not dare to imagine. Let's go back. No one knew who said that, but everyone decided to return. The group of people turned around and went back the way they came. However, after walking for 2 hours, they realized that their surroundings were still pitch black. There was no light at all. Oh no, we're trapped here. These people's faces were gloomy as they began to discuss a way out. On the other side, on Lin Xian's side, with Lin Xian as the leader, they began to crack the 8 trigrams formation under their feet. Many of them were unwilling, but there was nothing they could do. They could not crack it, so they could only rely on Lin Xian. Lin Xian was not polite to these people. These people had wanted to capture him and force him to crack the formation. How could he be polite to these people? Especially the people from Fei Imperial Palace, 9 Heavens Sacred Ground, and the Yinyang sect. He would pay special attention to them. Whoosh! Lin Xian stood up, and a golden light flashed in his eyes as he looked around with rapt attention. Although the dark red divine dragon was not by his side, his attainments and formations were still very powerful. It was not impossible for him to crack the 8 trigrams formation. Lin Xian carefully deduced. His eyes flickered as he took strange steps forward and walked 3 meters forward. For a moment, everything was peaceful. This surprised everyone. At the same time, they became excited. Previously, they would be blocked by the formation if they walked 1 meter forward. But now the other party could walk 3 meters. And they did not receive any warnings of danger or strange things. This made them believe that the other party was right. Perhaps the other party could really crack the formation. For a moment, everyone's confidence increased greatly. 3 meters forward, Lin Xian stopped and did not walk any further. He sensed a mysterious aura floating in the air. Now his soul had recovered, so he used the heavenly secret divine eyes. A golden light appeared. Chapter 2483. In the next moment, he did not leave immediately. Instead, he turned around and pointed at a Yinyang sect martial artist. Come here. What do you want? The Yinyang sect martial artist trembled. He suspected that the other party was going to attack him. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Cut the crap. Do as I say. Walk 2 meters forward and 1 meter to the left. Damn it, you want to experiment on me? The Yinyang sect martial artist immediately understood. How could he be willing to be a lab rat? That was why he was unwilling. What a coward. Lin Xian sneered when he saw the other party's cowardice. What are you afraid of? Is this formation dangerous? No one was killed when you were wandering around. You're unwilling to do something so trivial? Don't forget that there are so many people around you waiting for you. Sure enough, the surrounding people also looked over with sullen expressions on their faces. The Yinyang sect martial artist's expression turned ugly when he saw their gazes. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. To be honest, even though there was no danger, he was still unhappy. How dare he order me around? What a joke! He's not an elder of the Yinyang sect, nor is he their holy son. What right does he have to order me around? However, he had no choice. The yin-yang sect disciple could feel the pressure from the people around him. He could only brace himself and walk forward according to Lin Xian's instructions. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and nodded in satisfaction when he saw that. No matter how arrogant they are, they have no choice but to listen to me. If I tell them to walk, they will walk. If I tell them to stop, they will stop. It felt as if he was the leader of the sacred land, and the disciples had to listen to him. It was exhilarating. The martial artist braced himself and followed Lin Xian's instructions. He walked a few steps and stopped. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. There was no problem. He continued to walk forward. 2 meters forward and 1 meter to the right. The yin-yang sect disciple walked again. However, at that moment, a flame suddenly rose from under his feet and enveloped him. Ah! The disciple screamed in agony. However, the flame was not fatal. It was quickly extinguished by the yin-yang sect disciple. However, his face was covered in dust, his body was pitch black, and his hair was standing on end. He looked very strange. Damned bastard! Can you do it or not? Seeing this scene, the yin-yang sect cultivators behind him roared furiously. He felt that the other party was clearly toying with them. Lin Xian coldly snorted. What's the hurry? This array formation is so difficult to break. Did I say I could succeed in one try? If you think you can do it, then come on. Hearing this, those people were so angry that they vomited blood. If they knew how to do it, they wouldn't need to listen to him. This made them gnash their teeth in anger. Humph, Lin Xian said with a frown. Stop making a fuss. You can't even handle a little flame? Are you people from the yin-yang sect trash? Was this how he usually cultivated? A little flame? That disciple was so angry that he almost vomited blood. This was the tomb of a saint. God knows what kind of things would come out of it. They hadn't forgotten the terror brought about by the heads of 99 invincible kings. Cut the crap and continued to attack. Lin Xian ignored the yin-yang sect members and turned to look at the Fey Sovereign Palace. He pointed at the tree demon from before. The tree demon's face instantly turned green. He had barely escaped death, and the lower half of his body was slowly recovering. Asking him to scout the path now. What a joke. He wouldn't do it even if he was beaten to death. You don't want to go? Sure, get lost in front of me now. Lin Xian coldly shouted. You. The tree demon was so angry that he vomited blood. There was nothing he could do. The people around him were all glaring at him. He gritted his teeth and walked according to the path that Lin Xian pointed out. After a few steps, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck his head, almost splitting him in half. Ah! The tree demon screamed and rolled around crazily. Seeing this, the people from the Fey Sovereign Palace roared crazily. The others were also very nervous. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He silently deduced, and then walked another meter forward. In the next moment, he pointed at the people from the 9 heavens sacred ground again. You and you walk forward separately. 3 meters to the right, 2 meters to the left. The martial artists from the 9 heavens sacred ground also braced themselves and walked forward. They wanted nothing more than to skin the other party alive. But they had no choice. They still walked forward. Among them, the one on the left was fine. The one on the right suddenly disappeared. After waiting for about half an incense stick's time, he finally appeared. The moment he appeared, he knelt on the ground, his face pale. Obviously, he had encountered something extremely terrifying. Damn it, I quit. I quit even if you beat me to death. He roared crazily. Get back here. What a disgrace. Jiu Xiaoseiko's face darkened. He slapped the man unconscious and threw him to the back. Look after him, and don't let him embarrass himself. When he wakes up, give him a pill to eat. The people from the 9 heavens, sacred ground quickly helped him up. Jiu Xiaoseiko said in a low voice. Damn brat, can you do it or not? I feel that you're definitely taking revenge on us. As soon as he said that, the people from the yin-yang sect and Fey Sovereign Palace gritted their teeth and stared at Lin Xian with cold killing intent. Lin Xian, on the other hand, walked another 2 meters forward. He turned around and looked at those people with a disdainful smile. Can I do it or not? If you have the ability, just walk to this place. Let's see if you can do it or I can. As soon as he said that, everyone fell silent. Indeed, the distance that the other party had walked was further than all of them combined. This meant that the other party's method was feasible. However, it was too dangerous to use the martial artists from the sacred ground to scout the way. Seeing that everyone was hesitating, Lin Xian sneered. What, you don't dare to do it? So far, although there have been dangers and attacks, has anyone been killed? Don't worry, this 8 trigrams formation won't kill anyone. Also, those idiots from the 9 heavens sacred ground and Fey sovereign palace. Didn't you put on your armor and shield when you left? If you go up like that, it would be strange if you didn't get hit. Damn it! Hearing that, the people from the 9 heavens sacred ground almost vomited blood. You go up. Next, Lin Xian called many people. Without exception, these people were all those who had gone against him before. Lin Xian naturally wouldn't let them go. Sure enough, when these people went up, most of them were attacked. Some were struck by lightning, some were burned by fire, and some were directly teleported away. They were so scared that they screamed. Seeing this, Lin Xian sneered in his heart. Who asked these people to go against me? Now they're paying for it. As expected, the faces of the big black bull and the people from the Yin-Yang sect turned green. Just like that, they walked for 3 days and 3 nights in fear. Finally, they got close to the bronze cauldron. At this time, except for No Flower and those who hadn't gone against Lin Xian before, everyone else was covered in wounds. Chapter 2484. Jiu Xiao Seiko and the big black bull were also struck by lightning 3 times. Fortunately, they were strong enough to avoid any injuries. However, this made them so angry that their lungs were about to explode. This damned brat. This was definitely a clear retaliation against them. However, there was nothing they could do. However, they were relieved that they had finally reached the vicinity of the bronze cauldron. It seemed that they would be able to crack the 8 trigrams formation soon. Damn it. When we get the treasures in the bronze cauldron, we must kill this kid. Jiu Xiao Seiko gritted his teeth. The big black bull's face was also gloomy. He would not let Fang Xingjian off either. Ba. No Flower smiled. Brother Lin, it's all thanks to you this time. If it weren't for you, we probably wouldn't have been able to break the 8 trigrams formation. It's nothing. It's all thanks to everyone. As he spoke, Lin Xian glanced at everyone. Feeling his gaze, those who were struck by lightning were about to go crazy. Fuck. This guy is too infuriating. I really want to kill him. Some of those who were not struck by lightning could not help but laugh. Naturally, they could tell that Lin Xian was deliberately targeting those people. Alright everyone, get ready to crack the last formation, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Hearing this, everyone stopped laughing and looked forward with rapt attention. When they reached out to grab the cauldron, 8 trigrams appeared around them, forming a circle that firmly protected the bronze cauldron. The 8 trigrams were a very mysterious pattern. It had a special connection with heaven and earth. As soon as the 8 trigrams appeared, the surrounding atmosphere changed. It became heavy, as if countless mountains were pressing down on their hearts. Everyone, let's attack together, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. His eyes shone with a piercing sword light. Okay. No Flower stood in front of 8 trigrams. Jiu Xiao Seiko snorted, and also stood in front of 8 trigrams. The big black bull, the Yin-Yang sect members, and the other experts all chose 8 trigrams. On the count of 3, they attacked together. Lin Xian pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword, and the sword light on his body became sharper and sharper. 1, 2, 3 attack. The great dragon sword spirit in his body roared, and a powerful attack burst out. The ancient dragon sword was swung, tearing the sky and splitting the earth. It was as if it could destroy everything. No Flower struck out with his palm. His golden palm shone as if the Buddha had been reborn. His terrifying power was truly frightening. Jiu Xiao Seiko roared. His figure was tall and sturdy, and an immortal palace appeared above his head. He grabbed it and smashed it forward. At this moment, he was like a demon king, incomparably valiant. The big black bull was even more violent. Its demonic aura was monstrous as it swung its black fists. He was like a peerless demon king, causing the entire world to tremble. Experts from the Yin-Yang sect, the Illusion Palace, and the Nangong family also attacked with their ultimate divine powers. In an instant, a terrifying energy burst out, emitting a terrifying light that enveloped everyone. Even though the first 8 diagrams were strong, under the bombardment of so many experts of the Heaven sect, cracking sounds could be heard. Pung! Finally, it could no longer withstand the bombardment and broke apart. That was great. Everyone waved their palms and tore apart the energy storm. Their eyes were like divine swords that pierced through the void as they stared at the bronze cauldron in front of them. However, their eyes and souls could not see through it at all. They could only go forward and take a look. A group of people stepped forward one after another. Their bodies shone with light. Some of them activated their king's domains, while others activated their battle armors. They were afraid that they would be ambushed. The dragon sword domain also appeared above Lin Xian's divine body and enveloped him. Terrifying sword chi surrounded him. He took a step forward and looked inside. Beside him, No Flower, Wuxia Seiko, the big black bull, and the people of the Yin-Yang sect did the same. However, in the next moment they all recognized what it was. There were no immortal pills or miraculous medicines in the bronze cauldron as they had imagined. Instead, it was a corpse. It was a headless corpse. The corpse was very withered, and the battle armor on its body was shattered. It was obvious that it had been there for countless years. However, there were a few treasures on the corpse that were not damaged. There was a necklace on its neck, and a ring on its finger. Although they did not emit any light, they were still intact. At first glance, it was obvious that they were shocking treasures. Everyone's scalps went numb. The battle armor was very ancient, and the corpse did not have a head. What was going on? Could it be that his head was placed in the bronze cauldron? Heavens, could it be that he was an invincible king? These people quickly deduced that the bronze cauldron they had encountered earlier had the heads of 99 invincible kings. Now that they found a headless corpse, they trembled. Could there really be 99 headless corpses in the ancient tomb? Why would they do that? Why would they separate the heads from the corpses? Were the corpses dangerous? They did not know. However, from the looks of it, they should not be in much danger. That was because they were not in any danger yet. What should they do? These people discussed with each other. Although there were no pills, the treasures on the corpse made their eyes go red with envy, especially the ring. It was very likely that it was the storage ring of an invincible king. The treasures inside were definitely beyond imagination. It could be said that it was a treasure trove. However, no one dared to act rashly. After all, it was the corpse of an invincible king, and it was in the tomb of a sage. Who knew what would happen? Therefore they were careful. Just as they were thinking of a way to snatch it, someone suddenly roared, "Damn it! Put it down!" It was a person from the Yin-Yang sect. He found that there were many purple tree trunks in the bronze cauldron. They enveloped the 5 corpses, and a few of the tree trunks rushed toward the necklace and ring. Damn it, it's that tree demon. The people from the 9 heavens sacred ground were also angry. The others' faces were gloomy, and their eyes were red. That damn tree demon. How dare you snatch food from the tiger's mouth? Are you tired of living? The tree demon laughed sinisterly. Haha, you're all mine. He was too excited because his tree trunks had already wrapped around the necklace and ring. As long as he exerted some force, he would be able to retrieve them. At that time, they would be able to retreat quickly. The big black bull snorted coldly. It guarded the tree demon and looked around disdainfully. Don't blame me for crushing your head if you dare to make a move. Seeing this scene, many people's faces turned ugly. That was because they had seen the big black bull's strength. It was definitely at the level of a saint. It was very terrifying, especially that bull horn of the tree demon. It was even more terrifying. It was probably a weapon that could destroy anything. For a moment, they did not dare to make a move. Wuxia Seiko snorted coldly. He was not afraid of the tree demon. Lin Xian's eyes were also cold. The sword chi on his body exploded again, and a golden light appeared in his eyes. Just as they were about to make a move, the tree demon screamed. Chapter 2485. Those people's faces were pale and filled with fear. The big black bull was too terrifying. Lin Xian's sword chi burst out and blocked the sword wave attack. On the other side, the immortal palace above Wuxia Seiko's head shone with light. No Flower's body emitted a golden light that filled the sky, making him look extremely sacred. The few of them blocked the attack. However, the others took a few steps back. The purple tree monster said with a trembling voice. He caught me. Who caught me? Hearing the tree monster's words, everyone looked over. In the next moment they were stunned. That was because they saw a withered, zombie-like hand grabbing the tree monster. Those people gasped. Could it be that the headless corpse had come back to life? They did not know, but they felt a chill run down their spines. Many of them took a few steps back, their faces full of fear. Lin Xian, No Flower, Jiu Xiao Seiko, and Big Black Bull stared at the headless corpse with sharp eyes. The tree monster screamed crazily. He waved his purple trunk, trying to pull it back. However, he could not do it. That scene was even more shocking. One had to know that the tree monster was a top-notch expert, but at that moment, he could not pull it back. One could imagine how terrifying that withered hand was. Damn it! Let go! The big black bull roared, and threw a punch. It was earth-shattering as it blasted forward. Let alone a withered corpse, it was likely that the entire place would explode from the impact. However, just as his black fist approached the bronze cauldron, and before it could touch the withered corpse, white mist suddenly appeared from the headless corpse, and enveloped the black fist. This earth-shattering punch seemed to have hit cotton. It could not exert any power at all. Oh no, retreat! There's something wrong with this corpse. Everyone retreated frantically. Even the big black bull could not do anything to the corpse. It was obvious that this was beyond their capabilities. Just as they retreated, the mist spread from the black fist and instantly enveloped the surroundings, shrouding everyone. Everyone felt as if they were in the clouds. All around them was a vast expanse, and they couldn't see anything clearly. Even his soul power was being suppressed. Damn it, this is too strange. These people's expressions were ugly. They were extremely regretful. In the future, even if they were beaten to death, they would never look for this kind of bronze cauldron again. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Sword chi revolved around his body, blocking the white mist. On the other side, a golden light shone. No Flower was also resisting. Boom! At this moment, a deep and ancient voice suddenly resounded in the world, as if it had crossed over from the primeval times. Between heaven and earth, it was boundless and invisible. This voice rang in everyone's ears, causing their hearts to beat wildly. Buzz, buzz, buzz. They felt a mysterious power surging towards them. The world was spinning, and they seemed to have lost all ability to move. Even his consciousness was blurred. Not good. Damn it. Amitba. Cries of surprise could be heard as Lin Xian also felt this mysterious power. He instantly opened his heavenly secret divine eyes. Mysterious golden runes flickered in his eyes, but he was too late. If he was a moment earlier, he might have been able to see everything clearly. But now he could only see that the corpse in the bronze cauldron seemed to have moved. Then he couldn't feel anything. When he woke up, he saw a blue sky and white clouds and forests everywhere. They seemed to have walked out of the ancient tomb. Lin Xian was the first to wake up. His body was circulating wildly, and the golden light in his eyes swept in all directions. He saw that there were many people around him. They were all with him, and they were all ready to snatch the bronze cauldron. No Flower stood up and chanted Amitba. His body was surrounded by golden light. Jiu Xiao Seiko and the big black bull also stood up. The other experts gradually woke up as well. When they looked around and saw the unfamiliar scene, they all exclaimed, "Damn it, where are we? Have we been teleported out? Heavens, it can't be. Are you saying that we've left the ancient tomb?" These people screamed crazily, and their faces were filled with despair. What kind of joke was this? It wasn't easy for them to get to the depths of the ancient tomb. But now they were teleported back. What was worse was that they didn't know where they were. No, they had to leave this place as soon as possible. They had to find someone to ask where they were. They had to enter the ancient tomb again. The people from the Yin-Yang sect in Nine Heavens' sacred ground gritted their teeth. They would not give up this opportunity for nothing. Even if they were teleported out, they would go in again. Brother Lin, what do you think? No Flower turned his head and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not say anything. His eyes flickered as he stared at the tree demon. Buzz! His eyes shone with a sharp light. I think we should get rid of this guy first. As soon as he said that, everyone's eyes turned to the purple tree demon. The purple tree demon's body trembled, and the leaves on his body trembled. He screamed, "What do you want? What do you want? If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be in this damned place." Lin Xian snorted coldly. "That's right, kill that damn guy." The people from the Yin-Yang sect shouted angrily. The people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground were even more murderous. They had to get rid of this guy, or he would cause trouble. "How dare you?" The big black bull roared and stepped forward. He stomped his foot, and the ground cracked and shook. The demon clan experts behind him were also furious and murderous. However, this time, the demon lord palace had angered everyone. Therefore, no matter how strong the big black bull was, he could not fight against them. In the end, Lin Xian restrained the big black bull, while Zhou Seiko and the others restrained the experts from the demon lord palace. As for the others, they blasted the purple tree demon into pieces. "Ah!" The big black bull and the experts from the demon lord palace roared madly. But there was nothing they could do. "Damn it, just you wait. We will remember this." The big black bull snorted coldly. "Let's go." The experts from the demon lord palace soared into the sky and disappeared. "You guys, what do you think? Do you still want to join forces?" Seeing that the people from the demon lord palace had left, Lin Xian smiled and looked at the people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground and the Yin-Yang sect. Seeing this smile, the martial artists from the sacred ground shuddered. They remembered that they had been ordered by this guy to investigate the unknown array. At that time they were all charred black. Therefore, even if they were beaten to death, they were unwilling to walk together with this guy in front of them. "Umph," Zhou Seiko snorted. "No need. Kid, take care of yourself. Don't let me see you again. Next time, I won't let you off so easily." With that, Zhou Seiko left with his people. Then the others left one after another, leaving only Lin Xian and No Flower. Chapter 2486. "Brother Lin, what do you think?" Wu Hua didn't speak until everyone had left. Only then did he ask. "I don't think we were teleported out." Lin Xian said something shocking. If others were here, they would definitely cry out in surprise. However, it was a pity that those people had left. They didn't know that Lin Xian had the terrifying heavenly secret divine eyes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left so easily. "As expected, your guess is similar to mine." No Flower also sighed. "One flower, one world. We didn't leave the ancient tomb, but we entered a mysterious space. The ancient tomb of a saint is indeed mysterious. There are traps everywhere. If we don't handle it well, we might be trapped here for the rest of our lives." Lin Xian also frowned. He said in a low voice, "But there's a problem. Did we enter a strange space, or did we fall into an illusion?" No Flower carefully sensed, then shook his head. "I can't feel it either." "Brother Lin, what about you? Can you feel it?" Lin Xian also shook his head. "I can't feel it either. Unless we really entered a strange space, or the illusion is so powerful that it's beyond our imagination. But no matter which it is, it's not good for us." Lin Xian sighed. He tried to open the heavenly secret divine eyes, but he didn't find anything. It could only be said that if it was an illusion, it was too powerful and exceeded his current strength. "Looks like we can only walk around and look for it." Lin Xian and No Flower discussed for a while. They also rose into the air and flew into the distance. While they were exploring this unknown spatial world, the outside world had also undergone earth-shattering changes. Among them, the most leisurely was the snow-white little monkey. It stayed by the Alcate Saintess side for the time being, so it didn't face any danger. Moreover, the little guy ate an endless amount of natural treasures. Its stomach was round like a ball. The dark red dragon was also having a good time. It didn't encounter any danger along the way, but it met many people. These people all wanted to kill it. After all, quite a few of them hated Immortal Palace greatly. However, the dark red divine dragon's strength was far beyond their imagination. As long as it wasn't someone at the level of a holy sun, the other experts would all be slapped to the ground. He sealed it up, and then obediently became its pet. In the end, there were 9 pets behind the dark red dragon. They were called the 9 great lackeys. These 9 people even had the heart to die. However, they couldn't even die now. On the other side where Morong Qingqing and Xing Tian were. A great battle had broken out. Now that the battle had come to an end, those crazy martial artists had all been subdued. Those that couldn't be controlled were killed on the spot. Blood dyed the area red. It was extremely terrifying. The others were also gasping for breath, their faces pale. They lowered their heads, not daring to look at the paintings around them, because they were afraid that they would go crazy again. Damn it, what is this place? Why was it so strange? Morong Qingqing's face was also cold. I wonder how Qiu'er and Brother Xian are doing? She was indeed worried about the two of them, especially Xinjingqiu. Although she was powerful, she lacked actual combat experience. If there were no experts around to protect her, she would probably be in danger. Indeed, Xinjingqiu was now in great danger. The entire passageway was pitch black without any light. Neither the Alcate Saint nor the great Xia Prince could break out of this predicament. Moreover, what was worse was that they were completely trapped now. The passageway was pitch black, and they couldn't even see their own fingers. They couldn't find a way out. Fortunately, Xinjingqiu had two experts, Peacock and Hui Dao, by her side. Therefore, they weren't in any danger for the time being. The others were also relieved. Although they were trapped, their lives weren't in danger at the moment. In this way, as long as they searched carefully and patiently, they might be able to find a way out. However, this was a good idea. However, after about 2 hours, a scream sounded in the dark passageway. Hearing it, these people's scalps went numb. Who is it? Damn it, what happened? Hurry up and say it. An expert roared. They couldn't see now, and their souls could only be within a range of 1 or 2 meters. They didn't know anything further. Therefore, they didn't know who was screaming at all. What on earth happened? In the darkness, no one answered them. Damn it, could it be that they were killed? The Alcate Saint roared, and threw out the holy light ball. The terrifying holy light ball spun. However, it couldn't emit any light. There was only a terrifying energy that slapped in all directions like the waves of the sea. A few martial artists who were close to it were forced to retreat. This scene made the Alcate Saint's face darken. In his entire life, he had never encountered such a strange thing. What was in this passageway? How could it suppress all the light? Ah! Another scream sounded, just 4 or 5 meters away from the Alcate Saint. The wavering light Saint Sun felt his hair stand on end. His soul couldn't catch it either. He could only turn around and stare coldly ahead. Who was it? Come out! However, there was still no answer. The passageway was quiet. Only the sound of their heartbeats and breathing could be heard. Other than that, there was nothing else. Whoosh! At this moment, the great Xia Prince suddenly frowned. He suddenly felt a gust of cold wind behind him. Then it seemed that someone was lying beside him panting. Damn it! Get lost! The great Xia Prince roared and threw out a palm strike. However, the thing seemed to be lying on his body, so his palm strike missed. Roared the great Xia Prince shouted coldly. The aura of the Path of Dragon burst out and wrapped around his body. A loud dragon roar shook the 9 heavens. In an instant, the thing lying on his body was blasted away, hit the wall, and disappeared. What happened? Hearing the dragon roar, the others were shocked. Could it be that the royal family was also attacked? The great Xia Prince warned loudly. Be careful, there is an unknown creature. Unknown creature? What is it? Damn it, there is indeed something. Everyone was in a state of panic. Ah! Xinjingqiu shouted. She threw out a palm strike and instantly sent the thing flying. Just now, she felt that someone was attacking her. Perhaps it was that unknown creature. Miss Shen, are you alright? Peacock asked with concern. She knew about the relationship between Xinjingqiu and their hall master. So now that Xinjingqiu had attacked, they were very nervous. Xinjingqiu shook her head. I'm fine, Sister Peacock. This thing can't hurt me. Brother you. It seems that you have to use your trump card. After knowing that the unknown creature had appeared, the Alcate Saint said coldly. The great Xia Prince nodded after hearing that. Everyone, if you have any tricks up your sleeves, just use them. Don't hide them anymore. Chapter 2487. Show me all the tricks you have. Otherwise, we won't be able to get out of here. The prince of the great Xia dynasty said loudly. At the same time, The aura of the Tao of Dragon on his body became stronger and stronger, and the roar of a dragon resounded in the void. The Alcate Saint used some kind of secret technique, and a torrential force suddenly surged from his body. 108 phantoms of gods and demons appeared in the sky, and a mysterious voice sounded between heaven and earth. This time, the void was finally illuminated. The aura of the Tao of Dragon on the side of the great Xia dynasty transformed into a true dragon and tore through the darkness. Light shone in. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, "This is great!" As expected of the two top saints, they are indeed terrifying. Buzz buzz buzz! Heaven and earth trembled, and 9 purple runes suddenly rushed out of Shinjinkia's body and surrounded her. In an instant, they also illuminated a part of the world. The others also exclaimed, "God, the saintess of the Xixia Holy Land is also so terrifying." Previously, some people had seen Shinjinqiu in action. In their opinion, her strength had reached the level of a saintess, but she was inexperienced. But now, it seemed that was far from the case. She had an even more terrifying trump card. These 9 mysterious runes were too terrifying. They fixed the sky and emitted power that made these experts tremble. The power of bloodline. She must have the power of bloodline. Otherwise, it couldn't be so terrifying. Everyone was shocked, and even the prince of the great Xia dynasty and the Alcate Saint looked over. They also had a solemn look in their eyes, but they didn't know what bloodline the other party had. The 3 top geniuses illuminated the passage. This time, they could finally identify the path. The group of people moved forward again. Everyone moved forward in the dangerous and difficult situation. In addition, in the mysterious space world, Lin Xian and No Flower also flew for a while. Below them was a vast forest, and the river was surging. It was a magnificent scene, but there was no one. They didn't even see any demonic beasts. This made them frown. This place is too strange. Why aren't there any demonic beasts? No Flower was puzzled, and Lin Xian's expression was even more solemn. He transmitted his voice. "Brother No Flower, do you feel that someone is spying on us?" "I do feel that way." No Flower also responded. Lin Xian's frown deepened. He had the heavenly secret divine eyes, so this feeling was the strongest. He felt as if there were countless pairs of eyes watching them. Damn it, what the hell is this? What is this place? The silence around them made them feel uneasy. Lin Xian even activated his Tianji God eyes, and a trace of golden light appeared in his eyes. He scanned his surroundings, but did not find anything out of the ordinary. However, when he saw the white clouds surrounding him in the sky, he frowned. He struck out with his palm like a flying dragon, blowing away the surrounding clouds. Lin Xian's feeling of being spied on instantly disappeared. No Flower was astonished. Her eyes lit up. Could it be that there was something wrong with these white clouds? The two of them stopped in their tracks. No Flower also raised his hand. His golden palm swept out in all directions, forming countless gusts of wind that blew away the surrounding clouds. Sure enough, when the white clouds dissipated, the feeling of being spied on disappeared. The two of them increasingly felt that there was something wrong with these white clouds. "Do you still remember the white fog that emerged from the headless corpse when we were trapped? It was that white fog that brought us to this space. I think that white fog should be the key. These white clouds might be inextricably linked to the white fog. Perhaps the entire world might be." Lin Xian voiced his conjecture. No Flower nodded after hearing it. "That's right, but we still don't know what this white fog is. Let's continue walking. Perhaps we can find someone. Then we can ask them." They flew for about a day and a night. Lin Xian and Wu Hua didn't know how many tens of thousands of miles they had flown. Finally, more and more white clouds appeared in front of them, as if forming a white barrier between heaven and earth. Buzz! Lin Xian raised his hand, and a sword light slashed forward. No Flower also clapped his golden palm, and a terrifying energy struck the white barrier. The white clouds were torn apart, and a large fissure appeared. The two of them quickly entered the fissure. After entering, the scenery did not change. It was still a large river, and a forest. It was the same as before. However, Lin Xian and No Flower were pleasantly surprised, because they saw a person on a distant mountain peak. Finally someone. The two of them were overjoyed. They sped up, turned into two streams of light, and flew over. They found that it was a youth. He was dressed in cotton clothes, carrying a bamboo basket on his back, and holding a hoe in his hand. It seemed that he was picking herbs. The two of them moved like lightning, and instantly arrived near the mountain peak, and descended. There was a whistling sound, and the trees in the surrounding forest swayed with the wind. Below, the youth in cotton clothes looked up. When he saw the two figures descending from the sky, the youth's expression changed. As if he had seen ghosts, he turned and ran. This person could not fly, nor did he use any powerful mystique. He just ran on foot. However, this scene also surprised Lin Xian and No Flower. The other party did not seem to have any strength, but his physical fitness was not that of an ordinary person. With a light leap, he jumped dozens of meters high. With that speed, he could run more than 1,000 meters in 2 or 3 steps. In the end, they even saw with their own eyes that the youth directly jumped over a mountain peak. Although in the eyes of Lin Xian and No Flower it was nothing. However, compared to an ordinary person, it was indeed extraordinary. No Flower stretched out his palm, and a golden palm like a cloud enveloped that person. That person screamed in fright and rushed around, but he could not break free. It would be strange if the other party broke free. Lin Xian and No Flower flew forward. However, halfway back, the two of them were stunned, because they found that the youth in front of them had escaped. What a joke! He actually escaped from No Flower. This time, it surprised them again. No Flower was a saint. Ordinary mighty figures could not escape from his hands at all. However, a young man without much strength managed to escape with ease. Of course, the other party's means of escape surprised Lin Xian and No Flower. The youth in cotton clothes who was trapped in the Five Fingers Mountain suddenly turned into clouds of white mist and drifted towards the surrounding cracks. The mist passed through the cracks and escaped the Five Fingers Mountain. Then outside the Five Fingers Mountain, it condensed into a human shape. Whoosh! The youth ran away again with big strides. How strange, this guy was related to the mist. Lin Xian and No Flower looked at each other. They felt that the youth was too suspicious. Chapter 2488. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and countless sword lights formed a sword curtain that completely enveloped the youth. The youth frantically slapped the sword curtain and was sent flying. His body turned into white mist, and he wanted to pass through. But this time he was unable to do so. Instead, when the white mist touched the sword light, it made a sizzling sound. Ah! The youth screamed and once again condensed into a human form and rolled on the ground. Whoosh whoosh. 2 rays of light. Lin Xian and No Flower came to the side of the sword curtain and frowned as they looked at the linen-clothed youth who was rolling on the ground. They said coldly, "Who are you? Damn it, who are you? Why did you come to our homeland?" The linen-clothed youth roared crazily on the ground. Obviously, he was very angry. "Foreigners, get out of our homeland." "Foreigners?" Hearing this, the two of them frowned. Lin Xian asked coldly, "So you should have seen other foreigners? Where are they? You foreigners are not good people." The linen-clothed youth gritted his teeth. Suddenly, the ground in the distance trembled, and more than a dozen figures ran like apes. They jumped high, crossed a few hundred meters of mountain peak, and then landed on the ground. Their figures were very nimble, and it made people suspect that these people had a special body transformation technique. However, their bodies could turn into white mist. What kind of supernatural power was that? Bloodline power? Or some other means? They didn't know yet. In an instant, the dozen or so black dots in the distance came close. It turned out that it was also these people. They were dressed in linen clothes, and it seemed that they were the same race as the linen-clothed youth. "Stop, don't hurt our people!" A middle-aged man roared crazily. They were very fast and arrived near Lin Xian and No Flower in an instant. Lin Xian and No Flower did not make a move. They looked up ahead. In front of them, these people were dressed in linen clothes. Their eyes were dignified, and there was a hint of fear on their faces. Between their eyebrows, there were a few strange marks that looked like clouds. However, some of them had 1 cloud, while others had 2. Lin Xian looked and saw that the tallest one had 5 auspicious clouds. This was an old man with a head full of white hair and a hunched back. However, he didn't look weak at all. When he jumped the highest, which was 500 to 600 meters. As for the middle-aged man who spoke, there were 4 auspicious clouds between his eyebrows. Please don't do anything. Please don't hurt us. The middle-aged man stepped forward and said hurriedly, Amitba, this penniless monk will not hurt people for no reason. No Flower said indifferently. Lin Xian also looked at them and asked in a deep voice, Who are you people? Where is this place? How is it related to the ancient tomb? This is where we live. We are the White Cloud clan. As for the ancient tomb you mentioned, we don't know about it and have never heard of it. The middle-aged man hurriedly explained. Hearing this, Lin Xian and No Flower frowned. The other party had only given them one answer out of the 3 questions. The White Cloud clan. What kind of race is this? They had never heard of it before? Lin Xian looked at No Flower. No Flower also shook his head. However, it seemed that the middle-aged man was telling the truth. The fact that the other party's body was able to transform into white clouds and condense them at the same time meant that he possessed a unique bloodline power. However, Lin Xian and No Flower weren't satisfied with how the middle-aged man described the world when he said home. Your home should have a name, right? Lin Xian frowned and asked. There was a flash of sword light in his eyes. Feeling the sharp aura, the White Cloud clan people took a few steps back. Fear appeared in their eyes. The middle-aged man said again, We have lived here for generations. We named this place the White Cloud World. As for what you call it outside, how would we know? We are here to protect this world. You outsiders must have obtained some treasure map and are here to search for treasures, right? The White Cloud clan has been here for tens of thousands of years, but we haven't found any treasures. You outsiders, however, came one after another. Treasure? Treasure map? Lin Xian frowned. No Flower's eyes flickered. In that case, what you are guarding is a treasure. It's just a legend. If you want to believe it, we can't do anything about it. We'll take you there now. Okay. Lead the way. Lin Xian and No Flower were bold and skilled. They were not afraid. They also wanted to see what the legendary treasure was. What was going on with these White Cloud clan people? Lin Xian waved his hand. The sword light that filled the sky disappeared. The trapped young man in linen clothes was released. He ran to his clansmen with a pale face. The other clansmen waved their hands and asked him to follow closely. As they spoke, they ran quickly over the mountains and rivers. They were very fast, but they were nothing in front of Lin Xian and No Flower. Lin Xian and No Flower flew in the sky and followed behind these people. After flying for about an hour, a village suddenly appeared in front of them. Most of them were built in the mountains. They were all tree houses and wooden houses made of bamboo. They were very simple. There were some fields around the village, and some herbs were planted. Figures flashed in the village. They should be the other White Cloud clan people. The entire village was spread across several mountains. There was one in front. The middle-aged man turned around and pointed to the first mountain. Lin Xian nodded and flew over. Uncle Chi, you're back. Seeing the middle-aged man and the others return, the other people in the village came out to welcome them. They furrowed their brows when they saw Lin Xian and the other man following behind them. What's going on? Why are there more outsiders? Damn it, how long has it been? 3 groups of outsiders came. Hearing this, Lin Xian and No Flower raised their eyebrows. 3 groups of outsiders? That meant that there were already 2 groups of outsiders before them. They should be the people from 9 Heavens Holy Ground and Demon Imperial Palace. They wondered who arrived first. Where were those people? When did they get here? Lin Xian asked. We are their companions, and we came here together. Those people are at the other 2 mountains. If you didn't tell us, we wouldn't have gathered all of you together. Well, let all of you search for that illusory treasure together. An 8 or 9-year-old child said angrily. On the other 2 mountains, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked into the distance. Sure enough, he saw other people on the other 2 mountains. 9 Heavens Holy Ground, Yin-Yang Sect, Demon Imperial Palace, and Illusion Destroyer Palace were all gathered together. It seemed that these guys had joined forces. But that was good too. It would save them some trouble. With them together, Lin Xian could continue to trick them. After all, he and No Flower were enough to fight against those people. Zhu, Xiao Shanzi, go to the other 2 mountains and invite those people over. The middle-aged man said. Hearing this, the 2 8 or 9-year-old children quickly left. They jumped more than 10 meters. They ran very fast and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Chapter 2489. Seeing this, No Flower asked, Do you know any special skills? No. The middle-aged man shook his head. The youths in the village snorted. If we know any special skills, why would we be afraid of you? They looked at Lin Xian and No Flower with hostility in their eyes. Of course, there was more fear in their eyes. Don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. We just want to see what this treasure is. No Flower chanted Ba. Lin Xian didn't say anything. He slowly spread out his soul and looked around. He didn't find anything suspicious. However, he found that most of the people in the White Cloud clan had 1 or 2 white clouds on their eyebrows. Only a few had more than 3. Lin Xian had only seen 5 on the old man. What did these white clouds represent? Could it be that the more white clouds there were, the stronger they were? The higher they jumped? Or was it related to age? Lin Xian still couldn't figure it out. The White Cloud clan was full of mysteries. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just as he was guessing and calculating, dozens of figures flew out from the mountain peak in the distance. There were also many people jumping below. Soon they arrived at the mountain peak. These people were from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground, the Yin-Yang sect, and the Fey Lord Palace. They saw Lin Xian and No Flower in the air, and their faces darkened. After landing, Zhou Xiaoseiko snorted. This guy just won't leave. The Yin-Yang sect and the 9 Heavens Holy Ground seemed to have joined forces. They looked at Lin Xian with hostility. After all, Lin Xian had killed a genius from the Yin-Yang sect. The Fey Lord Palace also came. But they were obviously independent and didn't interact with anyone. They stood alone at the side. Other than that, there were also people from the Illusion Palace and the Nangong family. In short, most of them found the White Cloud clan and came here. After a day or 2, these people gathered again. As for the people from the White Cloud clan, they all retreated to create some distance between them. Many young people and children even hid in their houses, only revealing their eyes. They looked at Lin Xian and the other outsiders with fear in their eyes. Now that everyone is here, you can bring us to see your hidden treasure, right? The people from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground said coldly. The eyes of those from the Yin-Yang sect, the Illusion Palace, and the Monster Emperor Palace also lit up with passion. Lin Xian and No Flower also looked at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man nodded. All right, follow me. Seeing this scene, everyone was overjoyed and prepared to move. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from afar. No, Uncle Chi, you can't take them to that place. This voice was like a clap of thunder, resounding in all directions. Hearing those words, the middle-aged man frowned. The people from the White Cloud clan were also confused. Lin Xian and No Flower, as well as Zhou Xiaoseiko and the others, all looked up. In the distance, a figure that was like a divine red jumped between the mountain peaks. In a few flashes, he arrived near them. Jingyan! It's Jingyan! Big brother Jingyan! Many people from the White Cloud clan exclaimed, especially the young children. They even ran over cheering. The people from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground and the Yin-Yang sect frowned. What's going on? Why is someone stopping us? Their expressions were unfriendly. Sensing the change in their cold gazes, the middle-aged man from the White Cloud clan's expression changed. He quickly said, Jingyan, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't mess around. Back off now. Uncle Chi, I'm serious. You can't take these outsiders there. That's not a treasure place. There's no treasure there in the first place. You don't have it. Why are you stopping us from going there? Aren't you guilty? A person from the Yin-Yang sect sneered. The young man named Jingyan took a step forward. He looked at the people from the Yin-Yang sect with anger in his eyes. Lin Xian was extremely surprised by this scene. This was because the people from the White Cloud clan were looking at them with fear and wariness. However, this young man did not have any of that. There was only anger in his eyes. There was no fear or wariness at all. That was strange. He focused his gaze on the young man's glabella. In the next moment, Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. 7 auspicious clouds. That was right. There were 7 auspicious clouds between the young man's glabella. He had 2 more auspicious clouds than the old man who had the most auspicious clouds. 7 auspicious clouds. This young man's strength should be the most valiant. Otherwise he would not have been so confident. Lin Xian did not say anything. He quietly observed. The young man in front, who was Jingyun, said coldly, "Outsiders, I'm warning you. There's no treasure place at all. That place is the burial place of countless ancestors of the White Cloud clan. It's the most sacred place. Outsiders like you don't have the right to enter. Don't be presumptuous, Jingyun." Seeing that the young man dared to speak to the outsiders in such a manner, the expressions of the middle-aged man and the elders also changed. They hurriedly reprimanded him. However, Jingyun said, "Uncle Qi, you don't have to care about this. As long as I'm here, I won't allow them to enter." "You won't allow us to enter? Who do you think you are? How dare you block our way?" The people from the Yinyang sect sneered. The people from the 9 Heavens sacred ground also stood out. "Kid, I'll give you a chance. Get out of my sight. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." The people from the Demon King Palace snorted. "If you continue talking nonsense, not only will we kill you, but we'll also destroy the White Cloud clan." These people from the Demon King Palace had a monstrous demonic aura. They were extremely terrifying. Hearing this, the people from the White Cloud clan were so scared that their faces turned pale. They kept retreating. "No, don't do it. Everyone, please don't do it." The middle-aged man and the elders around him hurriedly tried to persuade them. "We'll definitely bring you there. Please don't do anything to the White Cloud clan." "Jingyun, back off. Are you trying to rebel? I've said it before. As long as I'm here, I won't let them pass. Unless they step over my dead body. You want to die? I'll fulfill your wish." A cultivator from the 9 Heavens sacred ground sneered. He stood out. Previously, they had already investigated these people. Apart from their strong physiques, these people did not have any other martial skills. Although their physiques were extremely strong in the eyes of outsiders, in front of them, they could not withstand a single blow. "You're courting death. Die." The disciple from the 9 Heavens sacred ground struck out with his palm, shattering the void. His terrifying palm grabbed forward. "Oh no, please stop." The middle-aged man and the elders screamed crazily. However, they could not stop it. Just this terrifying storm alone was enough to make them retreat continuously. "Sigh. No flower side." With a wave of his hand, golden light and runes appeared in the sky, enveloping the surrounding village and protecting the children, young men and women. It prevented them from being affected by the energy. Chapter 2490. Jingyun roared, not dodging at all. He threw out a punch as well. Lin Xian could clearly sense that the 7 auspicious clouds on the other party's forehead were emitting a brilliant light. Boom! A deep sound was heard, and the sky cracked. Several large cracks appeared and spread in all directions. A violent force swept across the area. Fortunately, the village was covered by the Buddha's light, which prevented it from being destroyed. Boom, boom, boom. After the attack, Jingyun took a step back, while the martial artist from 9 Heavens holy ground took 3 steps back. His arm was numb. How could this be? At this moment, the people from 9 Heavens holy ground and Yinyang sect were shocked. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Even the people from the White Cloud tribe were shocked. "Jingyun, stop." The middle-aged man and the few elders were still trying to persuade him. However, they had already fought. How could they stop now? Even if they wanted to stop now, the people from 9 Heavens holy ground would not let it go. As expected, the martial artist from 9 Heavens holy ground gritted his teeth. "Damn it, how dare you resist? You're courting death." He was furious. He could not take down a person who did not have any special skills, and he was even forced to retreat. This made him feel ashamed. At this moment, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He swore that he would kill this young man. "You despicable outsider, do you think I'm afraid of you?" Jingyun roared. He stomped his feet, and cracks appeared in the void around him. This guy is so powerful. The surrounding martial artists were shocked. Look at the 7 auspicious clouds between his eyebrows. Could that be the source of his power? Many people were discussing. Hearing this, the martial artist from 9 Heaven's holy ground's eyes lit up. In the next moment, he waved his hand. An array of sword light shot towards Jingyan's eyebrows. Boom! Jingyan roared, and the 7 auspicious clouds on his body shone brightly. He waved his fist and fought against the sword light. Cracks appeared in the void one after another, and the surrounding people were shocked. The disciple from 9 Heaven's holy ground was also powerful. He seemed to be a genius martial artist, and he held the killing sword in his hand. The two of them exchanged 30 moves. Seizing an opportunity, he instantly appeared behind Jingyan. The terrifying sword chi slashed towards Jingyan. If this sword could hit its target, it would definitely be able to slice a person in half. And from the looks of it, Jingyan definitely wouldn't be able to dodge it. Sure enough, the sword hit. Seeing this, the people of the 9 Heavens holy ground smiled. The Yin-Yang sect and Illusion Destroyer Palace also heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, their expressions froze as they screamed. Impossible! How could this be? The disciple of the 9 Heavens holy ground, who had attacked Lin Fan, was equally stunned. That was because he discovered that his sword had indeed hit its mark. However, the other party's waist suddenly turned into white mist. It was as if he had turned into air. Therefore, his sword strike only hit some of the mist. Damn it, how did this happen? The cultivator was dumbfounded, unable to believe what he had just heard. At this moment, Jingyan turned his head, and a terrifying fist landed on his opponent's body. With a loud bang, the martial artist from the 9 Heavens holy ground was sent flying. Clang! He crashed into the surrounding Buddhist light and fell to the ground, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Defeated! How could this be? Everyone was stunned. The faces of the people from the 9 Heavens holy ground were extremely ugly. Lin Xian and No Flower also frowned. This guy is so strange. Sure enough, he could transform into a cloud like the other members of the White Cloud tribe. Moreover, it was a partial transformation. This Jingyan was very strong. Looking at his strength, it seemed that he was stronger than the average mighty. They had thought that there were no experts in the White Cloud tribe. Who would have thought that such a powerful young man would appear? It seemed that the White Cloud tribe was indeed strange. Lin Xian and No Flower whispered to each other. The others were also shocked. At this moment, all the martial artists and experts stared at each other with eyes as sharp as lightning. Lin Fan's strength was beyond their expectations. I've said it before. If you want to pass, you'll have to step over my dead body. Otherwise you'd better scram. Jingyan shouted coldly. Hearing this, the surrounding people's faces changed. The saint of the 9th firmament snorted coldly. He didn't know what was good for him. He took a step forward, and a vast amount of energy gushed out. Countless cracks appeared in the sky and spread in all directions. Jingyan's expression was extremely solemn. This was because he felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. It was as if it wanted to tear him into pieces. He was extremely shocked. He did not expect the young man in front of him to be so powerful. Just one step was enough to create such a terrifying aura. Jingyan did not dare to be careless. He shouted angrily and his body turned into white mist to avoid the force. On the other side, his body reformed. Kill! With a roar, Jingyan charged towards Lin Fan again. He waved his fist, and it was as if a mountain was descending from the sky. The entire mountain was trembling. However, Jiuxiao Seiko was extremely strong. He dodged it with flickering light passing shadow. At the same time, a palace appeared above his head and descended from the sky. In an instant it enveloped Jingyan. The immortal palace shone brilliantly, and shone with tens of thousands of rays of light, sealing the entire void. Jingyan's body was also frozen. Bang! Jingyan shouted angrily, and turned into a white cloud again, trying to escape. However, this time he did not succeed. The area enveloped by the immortal palace completely sealed the void, making it impossible for Jingyan to escape. Seeing that the immortal palace was descending, Jingyan had nowhere to hide. Seeing this, the middle-aged man and the elders hurriedly shouted, "Please stop! Please don't kill him! We'll take you there." Jiuxiao Seiko snorted coldly. The immortal palace stopped in midair. The white mist below condensed and transformed into Jinjian's face again. At this moment his face was pale, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. Jingyun, hurry up and apologize, admit your mistake and retreat. Otherwise you'll die. The middle-aged man roared angrily. The young children in the house were also nervous. Big brother Jingyun, come back quickly. I've said it before. If you want to go there, you'll have to defeat me. Haven't you lost yet? Jiu Xiaoseiko sneered. He stood with his hands behind his back, and did not make a move at all. The immortal palace had only descended, and the other party was already unable to resist. How dare someone like that boast in front of me? What a joke! You can try whether you've lost or not. Do you really think that your immortal palace can kill me? Jingyun said coldly. He wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth with his thumb, and smeared it between his eyebrows. Buzz! The 7 auspicious clouds were shrouded in blood, and endless blood light emitted from them. Whoosh! 7 blood-colored auspicious clouds appeared around him and shrouded him. 7 evil's blood clouds. You've cultivated something like that. The middle-aged man was shocked. The elders also exclaimed in shock. Their faces were filled with fear. Chapter 2491. Ha! Jingyun didn't care. At this moment, he roared furiously and split open the sky with his palms, forcibly lifting up the falling immortal palace. He became stronger again. This scene shocked everyone. Even the big black bull of the Fey Imperial Palace frowned. Lin Xian and No Flower's eyes flickered. Interesting. This should be some kind of bloodline ability. Lin Xian muttered to himself. Jiu Xiaoseiko's face darkened. You don't know what's good for you. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how powerful I am. He was angry. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Whoosh! A stream of light cut through the void like a comet and flew forward. The void shattered in an instant, and countless black holes appeared around him. This attack was aimed at Jinjian's forehead. Jingyun naturally wouldn't sit still. The 7 blood clouds around him spun rapidly, emitting endless blood light, and forming a light screen. Clang! 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 The blood light screen shook like waves. The first layer of light was shattered, and then the second. However, the third layer of light was able to block this shocking attack. Jiu Xiaoseiko was stunned by this scene, but the murderous intent in his eyes became sharper. 9 Heaven's Palm! At this moment, the Saint of the 9 Firmaments finally used a great superpower. In the sky, 9 huge divine palms descended from the sky like the palms of a giant. Heaven and earth collapsed. The palm descended and enveloped Jingyun. The blood-red clouds around Jingyun started to spin again. The 6th palm of the 9 Heavens palm had already shattered 7 blood clouds. The 7th palm directly enveloped Jingyun. This palm was about to turn him into a blood mist. Jinjian's face was pale. He didn't expect his opponent's palm technique to be so powerful. The White Cloud tribe exclaimed in shock. At this critical moment, Lin Xian made his move. He flicked his finger, and a sword wave flew out. Buzz! The sword wave hit the 7th palm, causing it to stop in the sky. Using this opportunity, Jinjian's body swayed and retreated. Damn it, who is it? How dare you stop our saint? The people of 9 Heavens' sacred ground roared in anger. Jiu Xiaoseiko turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. What do you mean by this? He's already lost. There's no need to kill him. He should bring us there. Lin Xian said indifferently. There was another reason why he saved the young man. He was afraid that the White Cloud clan would react violently if the young man was killed. If that happened, they would be at a disadvantage. Since when do you have the right to tell me what I do? The 9 Firmament Saint looked displeased. Lin Xian laughed coldly. Is that so? Your memory is really bad. Just a few days ago, I was still commanding you to head east and west. At that time, didn't you also obediently listen to me? Now, why are you pretending in front of me? Jiu Xiaoseiko was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. A few days ago, he was ordered around by Lin Xiansei to break the 8 trigrams formation. But at that time, he could only endure it for the sake of the treasure. He did not expect Lin Xiansei to bring up the past. He was so angry that his teeth itched. He even wanted to attack Lin Xian. But at this time Jingyan sighed. Alright, you win. You can go to the treasure. Hearing this, the people started to discuss. Jiu Xiaoseiko stopped and did not attack. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face. Very well, lead the way then. Everyone please follow me. The middle-aged man sighed. He and the other elders led the way. Jingyan followed them. The group left the mountain and headed into the distance. After crossing 7 or 8 mountains, they finally arrived at a valley. The valley was quiet and lush with vegetation. However, there were no animals, let alone demon beasts or humans. At this moment in the south of the valley there was an altar. Although it was old, it was very clean. The people of the White Cloud tribe must have come here often to clean. Is this the treasure? The people of the 9 heavens holy ground asked. The people of the Yin-Yang sect looked around. At this moment, everyone started to search the valley, but they did not find anything. Everyone follow me. The middle-aged man did not say anything. He just led the way. Soon they arrived at the front of the altar. Lin Xian and the others took a closer look and realized that the altar was very ancient. There were mysterious runes on it that looked like fog and clouds. They were very lively. The middle-aged man and the others knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the altar. When they kowtowed 8 times, the altar shone brightly. The clouds on it seemed to have come to life and moved around. Behind the altar, there was a rumbling sound. Inside was the place where the treasures were hidden. Looking at the door that was slowly opening, the middle-aged man and the others stood up and pointed to the front. Lin Xian, No Flower, Jiu Xiaoseiko, and the others narrowed their eyes. They looked ahead. They did not enter. Instead, they probed with their souls. However, there seemed to be a mysterious power behind the door that prevented their souls from entering. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes, but he could only see a few meters ahead. It was dark and ancient inside. He could not see any danger for now. We're not familiar with this place. You guys lead the way. Jiu Xiaoseiko said coldly. He was also afraid that the other party would play tricks. So he wanted the middle-aged man and the others to lead the way. If there was danger, they could capture the other party. All right. The middle-aged man did not refuse. Lin Xian, Jiu Xiaoseiko, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. It did not seem like a trap. At this moment Jingyan said, Uncle Qi, let me go. You. Many people looked at Jingyan and frowned. This guy had tried to stop them, and even attacked them. Why was he so kind now? They were still worried. You can't do it. You have to give in to the middle-aged man and these old men. Oh, go in with Jingyan. The elders are too old to move around. The middle-aged man sighed. All right. Hearing this, Jiu Xiaoseiko and the others nodded. Lin Xian and No Flower also did not refuse. Then, the middle-aged man and Jingyan took the lead and walked toward the door. After the two of them entered, Jiu Xiaoseiko and the others moved. Lin Xian and No Flower also glowed as they followed in. When they were more than 10 meters in, the door behind them made a rumbling sound and quickly closed. The faint light disappeared in an instant, and the passage became dark. However, this was not a problem for Lin Xian and the others. Their bodies glowed brightly, and the passage was illuminated. Everyone please follow me. The middle-aged man led the way, and so did Jingyan. Chapter 2492. Gradually, the two of them began to walk to the sides of the passage. They did not explain anything. Lin Xian and the others did not mind. After taking a few turns, Jingyan and the middle-aged man suddenly slammed their palms on the wall. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient wall rumbled and was filled with cracks. It was like glass that would shatter at any moment. Damn it! What are you doing? Seeing this, the people from the Yin-Yang sect roared. The other people's expressions changed as well. How dare you play tricks in front of me? Jiu Xiaoseiko and the big black bull also roared. However, before they could attack, they were shocked. This was because countless cracks had appeared on the walls on both sides. Black fog was coming out of the cracks. The fog was very fast and seemed to be endless. It gushed out from the cracks and covered the entire passage in an instant. Despicable outsiders. How dare you want the treasures of the White Cloud clan? Now die. A sinister laugh came from the front. It made one's scalp tingle. You're courting death. The people from the Yin sect and the Nine Heavens sacred ground roared. The people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground charged forward. Whoosh! A sharp saber light flashed and cut through the void. However, it was blocked by the black fog. The two martial artists from the Nine Heavens sacred ground were sent flying. On the other side, the people from the Yin sect were also blocked. They looked at the black fog in front of them in shock. This was because there were rumbling sounds coming from the black fog. Hideous heads and faces appeared from the black fog. There were even claws, scales, and tails. Demonic beasts. Seeing this, the surrounding people frowned. However, the people from the Fey Imperial Palace sneered. They all had the bloodline of the mutated beasts. They were the least afraid of demonic beasts. Scram! The big black bull roared. His voice was like thunder, roaring in all directions. His voice contained the power of his bloodline. Ordinary Fey kings would have knelt on the ground when they felt the power of his bloodline. However, this time around, his bloodline power had lost its effect. The monsters in the black fog were not affected at all. Instead, they let out roars and charged over. In an instant, it enveloped Lin Xian and the others. Ah! Miserable screams rang out as many of the Nine Heavens Holy Ground, Illusion Destroyer Palace, and Yin sect cultivators were bitten, tearing off large chunks of flesh and blood. Blood dyed the ground red as they frantically retreated. Damn it! One attack after another slashed at the black fog and the monsters. However, the black fog was the same as the white clouds. It dispersed with a single slash, and after it dispersed, it could fuse back together again. It could be said that ordinary swords and sabers could not hurt them at all. Instead, more and more black fog came out of the crack. Damn it! What kind of monster is this? Why can't I kill him? The people of Nine Heavens Holy Ground in Yin sect were terrified. They kept on retreating while casting out defensive lights. Bang! 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 These monsters crashed into the defensive barrier, making earth-shattering noises. The light defense was very strong, but as more and more monsters appeared, the disciples were gradually unable to hold on. Get lost! At this moment, Wuxia Seiko roared. The immortal palace in his body rushed out and floated in the sky, casting down a curved light that enveloped the people of Nine Heavens Holy Ground. On the Yin sect's side, they worked together to cast out Yin Qi. A Yin diagram floated above their heads, blocking all the attacks. The people of Illusion Destroyer Palace cast out a picture scroll that wrapped them in all directions, temporarily blocking the black fog. Big Black Bull and the others' demonic aura soared into the sky as they fought against the black fog. No Flower chanted Umitba, and the Buddhist light flashed. It had a natural restraining effect on these monsters. The monsters retreated like the tide. They did not attack No Flower. Instead, they all turned their attention to Lin Xian. Buzz! Lin Xian's dragon sword territory appeared and blocked these monsters. At the same time, he waved his hand. The dragon sword territory emitted sword chi and slashed forward. Seeing this, the people of Nine Heavens Holy Ground and Yin sect sneered. It was useless. The attacks could not hurt them at all. But when they heard this, they were stunned. Because the black monsters that were slashed by the sword chi were screaming in pain. They seemed to be in a miserable state. What? How is this possible? How can his sword chi hurt them? These people were stunned. They also cast out sword chi and saber chi. But it was useless. Damn it. What kind of swordsmanship is this kid using? Wuxia Seiko and Big Black Bull also frowned. They had always felt that Lin Xian's swordsmanship was very strange. It seemed to be much more powerful than ordinary sword chi. That attack power made them feel apprehensive. Who would have thought that it would actually have a restraining effect on the black monster? Brother No Flower, let's go. After killing those monsters, Lin Xian said to No Flower with a smile. No Flower nodded. The Buddhist light on his body shone brightly. The two of them strode forward. Wherever they passed, the black monsters retreated like floodwaters. They did not dare to approach at all. Hurry up and follow. When they saw this scene, Wuxia Seiko, Big Black Bull, Yin sect, and Illusion Palace all rushed forward, wanting to hitch a ride. But as soon as they moved, the black monsters in the sky rushed over, and the black fog surrounded them. Fierce collisions and angry roars were heard. Damn it! Get lost! These people had gone crazy, especially Jiuxiao Seiko and Big Black Bull. They even used their ultimate skills to kill, because they were afraid that Lin Xian and No Flower would take away the treasures. Hearing the screams behind them, Lin Xian and No Flower smiled. It seemed that the black fog could stop the people behind for a while. In that case, they would not hold back. The two of them could not help but speed up. No Flower's Buddhist light shone brightly, blocking all the black fog. Lin Xian's sword chi was like a dragon. The terrifying sword chi spread out in all directions, and any black monsters that dared to approach were directly killed. Buzz! After flying for a while, two figures suddenly appeared in front of them. Seeing the two of them, Lin Xian snorted coldly. No Flower also frowned, because the two of them were the middle-aged man and Jingyan who brought them in. When the two of them saw Lin Xian and No Flower, their faces were full of shock. Damn it, impossible! How did you escape the zombie beast's pursuit? They were too surprised because they did not expect the two of them to pass through the black fog so easily. Lin Xian said coldly, "There is indeed something wrong with the two of you." He struck out two water swords, which shrouded the two of them. The sea surged and turned into two cages, trapping the two of them. Whoosh! Lin Xian and No Flower strode forward. This time, they would not hold back. They would interrogate the two of them properly. Chapter 2493. Two ocean cages surrounded them, and the surrounding seawater surged. Jingyan and the middle-aged man could not escape at all. However, they were not afraid. Instead, they laughed coldly. Hee ha 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 ha. Foolish outsiders. Do you really think that you can defeat us? Their lips curled into a demonic smile. Seeing this, Lin Xian and No Flower stopped and frowned. What was going on? Why were their expressions so strange? Suddenly there was a cracking sound. The two ocean cages were torn apart, and two large black hands emerged from the cracks in the walls. In an instant, they tore apart the water swords. Foolish outsiders, you still want our treasures? Now go die obediently for me. The two of them shouted coldly. The black fog that filled the sky shrouded Jingyan and the middle-aged man. Buzz! In the black fog, a pair of eyes opened with a demonic light. Two human-shaped black fog appeared in front of Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Kill! Among them, the human-shaped black fog formed by Jingyan charged toward Lin Xian, while the middle-aged man charged toward No Flower. Humph! No Flower snorted coldly, and the Buddhist light on his body became even brighter. There were even runes flashing around him. They turned into mysterious runes one after another and blasted forward. Bang! The middle-aged man roared, but he was not as terrified as the black demons before. He could resist. This scene surprised No Flower even more. Whoosh! Lin Xian waved the great dragon sword chi, and streaks of sword light slashed toward the black fog in front of him. Before he got close, Jingyan screamed. There were a few more sword scars on his body, but soon, the fog on his body enveloped the sword scars. Jingyan charged over again. Jingyan's strength was not strong, and he even used his ultimate move, the Seven Evils Blood Cloud. But he was still easily suppressed by Jiuxiao Seiko. But now, he was wrapped in the black fog. After turning into a human-shaped fog, his strength soared. His current strength was probably no weaker than the saints. Furthermore, it was extremely strange. It could even transform into mist and evade powerful attacks. It could be said that it was even more difficult to deal with than the saint. If an ordinary saint were to encounter such a situation, they would definitely have a headache. However, Lin Xian was still fine. His great dragon sword spirit could destroy everything. So even if the other party could turn into mist, he would not be able to dodge his attack. Streaks of sword chi tore through the void and transformed into a sky full of sword radiance that enveloped Jingyan. Jingyan's body turned into mist and dodged in all directions. However, the places that were swept by the sword chi still emitted white smoke and miserable screams. Therefore, after the attack, the figure of Taoist Jingyan shrunk. Roar! Kill! This completely infuriated him. With a furious roar, the black gas that filled the sky surged. 9 black holes appeared beside him, blocking the sword light that filled the sky. At the same time he attacked again. The great battle between the two shook the heavens and earth, their momentum terrifying. On the other side, the battle between No Flower and the middle-aged man was also very intense. No Flower had a great Buddhist mystique and a mysterious bloodline. Therefore, the suppression of such dark things was very strong. For a moment, the middle-aged man was suppressed. Amipa. 9 Buddhist runes appeared in the sky, spinning nonstop and emitting golden light. They were like 9 suns that blasted forward. The middle-aged man kept retreating. On the other side, Jingyan was also sent flying by Lin Xian again. The two of them retreated into the distance, roaring nonstop like crazy beasts. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air came from behind. It turned out that the people from the 9 heavens holy ground and demon imperial palace, who were trapped by the black fog, had rushed over. Although the black fog was strange, it was still top powerhouses like Jiuxiao Seiko and the Big Black Bull. Moreover, these martial artists from the holy ground were not weak. They worked together and forced the fog to retreat. However, they were also heavily injured. Other than Jiuxiao Seiko and the Big Black Bull, the others were more or less injured. When they saw that Lin Xian and No Flower were blocked and did not advance, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Great! It seemed that they had not gotten the treasure yet. However, when they saw the 2 human-shaped fog, they frowned. What were these things? Naturally, they were able to sense the terrifying auras emitted by the human-shaped fog. Damn it, this place was too strange. There were even human-shaped monsters here. Charge! Jiuxiao Seiko snorted. The Big Black Bull also led the people from Demon Imperial Palace to attack. None of them paid any attention to Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Instead, they charged straight ahead. In front, Jingyan and the middle-aged man roared. The fog around them floated, forming a black light that filled the sky. Puff puff puff. Jiuxiao Seiko and the Big Black Bull were blocked. This scene made all the surrounding martial artists scream. The other party had the combat strength of a physical body. Their eyes were about to pop out. Jiuxiao Seiko and the Big Black Bull's faces were gloomy. They finally knew why Lin Xian and No Flower had not broken through and left. Damned outsider, go to hell for me. Jingyan and the middle-aged man did not attack again. They formed a seal with their palms, and the red light in their eyes became more and more intense. Boom! Their bodies suddenly exploded, forming a boundless black fog. Cracks appeared on the surrounding walls again. The black fog filled the sky, completely enveloping Lin Xian and the others. This time, it was even stranger. This was not just a black fog, but an array formation. Have a taste of the Corpse Soul Array. A cold voice sounded. The array formation was activated, and a terrifying energy attack attacked everyone. Scram! Angry roars could be heard, and the energy explosion was earth-shattering. This array formation was too profound. Although they were still in the passageway, they felt as though they were in another world within the array formation. No matter where they went or how they broke through, they could not leave. They even felt that the vitality in their bodies was being stripped away bit by bit. No Flower's body shone with Buddhist light, scaring away all the black fog, creating a vacuum around him. As he walked, the black fog around him dispersed like the tide, but it was useless. He could not recognize the direction at all. He could only walk in the array formation, but could not break through it. Seeing this, Lin Xian said, "Brother No Flower, let's work together. You disperse the black fog. I'll break the array formation and find a way out." Buzz! Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He activated his heavenly secret god eyes, and mysterious runes flashed. Whoosh! In the void above them, a pair of golden eyes appeared. Although it was faint and hazy, everyone could clearly feel that a god was looking down on them. As soon as the golden eyes appeared, the black fog trembled violently and almost dissipated. The martial artists also felt a chill in their hearts, and they felt a chill in their hearts. What was going on? Why did they feel like they were being watched? The Big Black Bull and Jiuxiao Seiko also frowned. Their eyes were like rainbows as they looked around. Suddenly, their bodies trembled because they saw the illusory golden eyes above them. It was cold and emotionless like the eyes of a god. What was that? Whose divine power was it? Or was it originally the same as the black fog? Chapter 2494. They did not know. But the immortal palace above Jiuxiao Seiko's head shone even brighter. Mysterious demonic runes appeared on the big black bull's body. Facing the unknown golden eyes, they did not dare to be careless. The golden eyes were naturally formed by Lin Xian. The phantom of the heavenly secret god eyes appeared in the sky and scanned the area below. After a while Lin Xian smiled. Found it. Brother No Flower, let's go. Lin Xian began to point out the way, while No Flower was responsible for dispelling the black fog. Finally, the two of them left the corpse soul array. The two of them left. Follow them. Behind them, the voices of Jiuxiao Seiko and the others could be heard. They were anxious and joyful. Jiuxiao Seiko and the big black bull took the lead and followed the path that Lin Xian and No Flower left. This scream
Just
almost
as they were
caused
about to
Lin
come
Xian's
out,
and No
Lin
Flower's
Xian
souls
and
to
Wuxia,
shatter.
who
Lin
were in
Xian's
front of
face
them,
was pale
stopped
as
and
he
turned
withdrew
around.
his soul power.
Go
On the
back.
other side, Lin Xian
No
snorted
Flower's
coldly.
expression was solemn.
The dragon sword
What was
territory
inside?
turned into an azure
Fortunately,
dragon.
they
and
were
charged
unable
forward.
to use the 9
No
Buddhist
Flower
runes
also
to
sent
suppress
out a
it.
few rays of
Otherwise,
Buddhist light.
their souls
forming
would
a
have been
golden
severely
Buddha
injured
palm.
when that sharp
Bang,
sound was emitted.
bang. Facing
Let's
the
see what
two
kind of
shocking
monster
attacks,
is inside.
the big black
Lin
bull and
Xian's
Jiuxiao
face was
Seiko
also
blocked
cold.
them with all their
He
might.
opened his heavenly
After the two
secret god
attacks,
eyes
Jiuxiao
and formed a
Seiko
seal,
and the
a pair
big
of
black
hazy
bull were
golden
forced
eyes
back.
appeared above him.
In that split
He
second,
didn't use it
the
before
black
because
fog
it consumed
enveloped
a
them
lot
again.
of soul power.
The original
He
path
didn't want to use
disappeared,
it unless
Damn
he
it.
had no other choice.
Damn it.
However, he couldn't
Jiuxiao
care less
Seiko's
now.
crazy roar
A pair
came
of
from
golden
within the
eyes
black
appeared
fog.
in the void.
Despicable
Looking
human,
down like the
don't
eyes
let
of a
us
god,
catch you,
or he'll kill you.
Finally,
The big
Lin
black
Xian
bull
saw
roared
what was
crazily.
inside the bronze
Jiuxiao
cauldron.
Seiko's
However,
murderous
he was
aura
stunned.
surged. Then,
Lin Xian,
the
No
golden
Flower,
eyes in the
he'll
sky
remember
disappeared.
the two of you.
What did
The
Brother
next time I
Lin
see you,
No
definitely
Flower was
kill
also
both of you.
puzzled.
There were
Frenzied
two
roars
small
rang
cauldrons
out.
inside
But
the
Lin
bronze
Xian
cauldron.
and No Flower
They were
only
sealed
sneered.
and couldn't be
They
seen
wouldn't care
clearly.
about such a threat.
However,
They
let's
should
go.
be the treasures
Lin
that the
Xian
White
said.
Cloud tribe
Their
mentioned.
figures flickered
There
as
are
they
two
walked
small
forward.
cauldrons, one
Along
for
the
each
way,
of us.
they didn't
However,
encounter
what
any
was
more
that
black
shrill
fog.
sound?
Nor
No
were they
Flower was
attacked
even
by
more
any
puzzled.
formations.
Lin Xian
However,
arrived.
he did
It
not
was a human
encounter any
face.
treasures either.
To be precise,
The cold
it was
aura
a human
around them
face
became
carved with
heavier and
runes.
heavier.
It wrapped
As if
around
the
the
two
two
of them
small
had fallen
cauldrons
into a
under the bronze
10,000-year-old
cauldron.
ice cave.
If we want to
In
take
the
the
end,
small
both of
cauldrons
them frowned.
inside, what
We
kind
have
of
to
place
deal
was
with
this?
that shrill sound.
Was there any treasure?
Brother Lin,
Fortunately,
what do you think?
After
Lin
walking
Xian
for
said
another
in a low
half an
voice.
incense stick's
There
worth
wasn't
of
much
time.
time.
Something
Jiuxiao
else finally
Seiko
appeared
and
in
the
front
big
of
black
him.
bull
There
would
was also
definitely
an
be able
ancient
to
altar
break
in
through
front
the
of
array.
him.
Therefore,
Similar
we
to
have
the
to
one
end this
outside.
quickly. It was
I
just
can
that the
resist the
scale
shrill
was a little
sound,
smaller.
but even if I
A
can
cauldron
fight
was
it,
placed
I
on
can't
top of
protect
the
my
ancient
soul from the
altar.
impact.
It was a
When the
bronze
time
cauldron
comes,
with countless
it might be a
runes engraved on
situation.
it. Seeing this
Hearing
bronze
this,
cauldron,
No Flower smiled.
Lin Xian and
Brother
No
Lin,
Flower
don't
stopped
worry.
again.
I have a
Their
Dharma
eyes
treasure
flashed
to
as they
protect
looked
the
at
soul.
each other.
As
To
he
be
said
honest,
that,
he
the
flipped his
previous
palm
two
and took out a
dangers were all
Buddhist
caused
bead.
by this
The
bronze
Buddhist
cauldron,
bead was crystal
including
clear,
this time
and
when
about
they
the
entered
size
the
of an
mysterious
apple.
space.
It shone with
They
Buddhist
didn't expect
light
to
and
encounter
was
a
covered
bronze
with
cauldron
Buddhist
here.
runes.
Could it
This
be
is a
that the
soul
treasure
anchoring
mentioned by
pearl.
the White
It
Cloud
can
clan
protect our
was
souls.
this bronze
A
cauldron?
soul anchoring pearl.
To be honest,
Lin
they didn't
Xian
really
was
want to touch
surprised.
this bronze
He
cauldron.
didn't expect No
Because
Flower
of the
to have
previous
such a
two
good item.
times.
In
In
fact,
fact, it was
Lin
too
Xian
strange.
didn't know much about
However,
the Western
they were
desert.
still very curious.
If the elders of
They
the
also
other
wanted
sacred
to know
grounds
what
were
was
here,
inside this bronze
they would
cauldron.
definitely
Was
scream
there
when
really
they
a
heard the
treasure
word soul
inside?
anchoring
Brother
pearl.
Lin,
Because
he'll
it was
use
an
the Buddha's
important
light to
treasure of
suppress it
Lanluar
first.
Temple.
With that,
With
no
it,
flower
they wouldn't
formed
be
a
affected
seal.
by the soul.
9 Buddhas' runes
Moreover,
appeared in the
it was
void and
rumored
floated
that even
forward,
if a dead person was
revolving around the
enveloped by the
bronze
soul
cauldron.
anchoring pearl,
Lin Xian's
their
soul
3
rushed forward
spiritual
and probed
7
it.
physical
At the
souls
same
would
time,
be frozen.
No Flower
There might
also
even be a
used his
chance
soul
of
power.
resurrection.
Both of
There
their
were
soul
many
powers
rumors about
probed
the
into
soul
the bronze
anchoring
cauldron
pearl.
in front of
All
them.
right, let's do that.
However,
Well
as
worked
soon
together.
as they entered,
Lin
their
Xian nodded.
expressions changed, and they immediately withdrew their soul power. This was because an extremely sharp sound came from the bronze cauldron. It sounded like a woman's voice, extremely shrill and miserable. No Flower waved his hand, and the soul anchoring pearl floated in the sky. Countless Buddhist lights scattered and enveloped the two of them. Lin Xian felt the golden light and was surprised. Indeed, he felt a mysterious force protecting his soul. This way he didn't have to worry about anything. The next moment, he activated the great dragon sword soul in his body. A dragon soul rushed out of his body and appeared in the sky, bearing its fangs and claws. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.